Welcome to Free for the Fruit, where we talk about what it is that we need to do to prepare our minds, prepare our hearts to be free to receive the fruits of the Holy Spirit that He's trying to share with us. If you've ever thought, man, I know that I'm a Christian, but it seems like other people have more joy, more kindness, more self-control, more of this good stuff of the Holy Spirit than me, then you are not alone. This podcast is for you to help you figure out how to become free for the fruit. Hello and welcome. I am so happy to be with you today. We're going to be pivoting just a little bit from normal because I really wanted to talk about how other people speak into this specific idea of living your purpose and giving your gift, because a lot of the other lies and truths that we interact with are very personal. So you are kind of the only one that knows if you are fully trusting God or not. And that is not something that's necessarily on display. It can be kind of, but you never really know fully what's going on in someone's internal life and relationship with God. But this is something that we do see more clearly in other people. And this is, I think, one of the only areas where other people can see you more clearly than you see yourself in terms of kind of the lies and truths we're talking about. There's a lot of ways that other people see us more clearly than we see ourselves, but specifically in terms of the topics that we talk about on this podcast. And when we see someone doing what it is that we feel they are just meant to do, whatever that looks like, it is usually pretty obvious to us. It's usually something that really affects us because we recognize what a gift it is to simply receive, what it is that they have to give. And so, this episode today, we're going to be talking about how we can continue to fortify others in their purpose. Because the other thing that this does is it draws our attention to the necessity and the gift of others. And then the diligence comes in recognizing that this then doesn't invalidate our own value or worth or gift that we have to give. This actually reminds us that we too have something to give. We want to defend against that like weird, twisted pride of like, everybody's great except me, or everybody has something to give except me. We want to stay away from that. We want to reject that. We want to be actually humble and recognize what other people have been given is really beautiful. It's really beautiful to receive that. And other people have the experience receiving what it is that I have to give. So that is, in a roundabout way, a good way to encourage ourselves as well, just to continue to encourage other people. But how do we do that? First of all, I think that everybody underestimates the power and the importance of just a kind word. And specifically, when you see someone doing something, you're just like, you are just made to do this. This is so edifying for me to be a part of. It's so enjoyable to watch you do this or be around when you do this or to know that you do this, whatever the kind of correct form is for the thing that they're doing, then that provides really important encouragement to them. When you study the spiritual gifts that the Holy Spirit gives, Many Parts Ministries has put together some statistical analysis actually of kind of the distribution based on their online assessment. And encouragement is the most common spiritual gift. And people have more than one, so that won't necessarily be the only thing that you've been spiritually empowered to do, but it's really common. And this, I believe, it reflects the fact that God's heart is to constantly give us courage, to encourage us. And when we encourage somebody else, whether that's our specific, call or not, we can do it. That is us really making that part of God's heart present in the world. The fact that He desires to build people up and to connect people to each other, not in a everybody's fine, nothing's wrong, everything everyone does is awesome kind of way where it becomes meaningless because it's just whatever you want it to be, but in a very a truly encouraging way that draws people back to the church and truly does give them courage, like the name implies, to continue in their pursuit of truth and being who it is that God made them to be and all of those things. And so anytime you have the opportunity, especially in person, online is lovely when it's all we've got, but it's always better in person to say to someone, you are just doing what it is that you're meant to be doing. This is just beautiful to witness you doing XYZ thing, or I'm so glad that you're doing this thing because it's so necessary, maybe in our community, or it's something that is so edifying for other people to view, and therefore it brings about this beautiful fruit in the lives of others. Getting in that habit can become a part of our habit about getting in that habit for ourselves of really allowing ourselves to be encouraged when other people share, on the flip side, those same words of encouragement with us. Because if we develop the habit of rejecting other people's encouragement, we're going to continue to strengthen those walls that protect the stronghold of the lies in our lives. It's going to be harder and harder and harder for us to break through that, to let Jesus break through that, and actually let the truth reign in those places in our minds and our hearts. So we can thin those walls, get our awareness up about how we should receive encouragement and compliments by encouraging and complimenting others, so that we recognize what we're saying is true, what we're telling them is true. Maybe what people are saying to us is true as well. Maybe other people encouraging us is really what we should be taking to heart versus the lies that we are currently believing. Another beautiful way to fortify somebody else in their purpose is to just consume what it is that they have to give you, or to receive what it is that they have to give you. To let someone provide you with the gift that they have to give. This is to allow yourself to be served, allow yourself to receive, because there's actually a lot of humility in that. That's what Peter resisted when Jesus went to wash his feet at the Last Supper, because he didn't want to really have that humility to let himself be served. And so, of course, Christ pushes back on this and tells Peter, no, you have to let people serve you. And so when we allow people space to give their gift, then that is an important means of encouraging them and growing in our own humility. But I think at the end of the day, our awareness, bringing our awareness to the fact that we are seeing other people doing things that are really important and really matter, and that then should increase our own urgency and our own awareness that we too have something like that. And to build our faith that even if we're not there yet, even if we're not 100% sure what it is, even if we're not 100% sure what it looks like to give it, we are meant to give that gift that we've been given. We are wrapping up this episode, our series on giving the gift that you have received. Our Truth Bands Together for this month has this really beautiful declaration on it. We have that size for kids and adults to be able to read that as you go through your day. If you are dealing with any kind of lies or struggles around this concept, that's a great thing to pick up or to pass on to somebody else as an additional means to encourage them in their purpose, like we're talking about in this episode. We'll be back in the month of July with a fresh new topic. We've got some awesome stories for you in July, which will be really fun to go through, and I can't wait to see you there.